Shalom, Shalom, and welcome to White Robes family. My name is Symmanayah, and these are the words I'm compelled to present before an awakening nation. On this first slide, I've explained it on multiple occasions how the appointed feast times, the 7 major feast times, have embedded a purpose that can be passed on from generation to generation, a purpose that can be used as a tool for vetting and examining one another. For if you remove any of these steps, my brothers and sisters, how then can unity be among Yashar'al if we ignore the steps to growing in unity? My brothers and sisters, and you can pause this slide so I won't be constantly redundant, but you can pause this slide and read them. And I ask that you consider strongly, if you don't understand, ask questions, my brothers and sisters. Seek to understand and discern what is necessary during these end times to gather a set-apart nation from the four corners of the earth. This is the 39th installment to White Robes family. And before I go any further, let me read the following. If you are familiar with this disclaimer, it is okay for you and you abide by it, or make note of it at the very least. You may fast forward past it, but let me read it. Warning and disclaimer. The information contained in White Robes family represent instructions and warnings to individuals who believe they are drawn by the Almighty Father, the Almighty Creator, Yahuah, to Yahusha Mashyach. The content presented centers around end-time realities. Please be advised, this site is not intended for children under 16 years of age due to its content. Let me pause for a minute, my brothers and sisters. This doesn't mean that I have no words for anyone under 16. It is to be compliant with this platform. So make no mistake, my messages are not just for those 16 and older. But for this platform, I must say that it is for 16 years or older. And the reason being, my brothers and sisters, movement will come. Movement will come for Yashar'al. And I have no idea what age those would be that are drawn by the Almighty Father. But let me continue with the disclaimer. If I continue forward, you agree to hold Symmanayah harmless of any influence in our actions that arise as a result of watching, listening, and reviewing the content presented. The views expressed do not reflect the owners, management, and or shareholders of this media platform. Please be advised I am not affiliated with anyone else using this name or any name similar. This is White Robes Family by Symmanayah, also known as White Robes Family, period. With that said, let's continue, my brothers and sisters. Let's get into this 39th segment. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, it is important that we recognize as we grow in set of partners, the need to know the person in the mirror is important. The title of this installment, this 39th installment, is I Know Me Better. I Know You Better. We know better. You see, my brothers and sisters, it's unwise to step out there trying to battle with individuals within Yashar'al, or let alone outside Yashar'al, when you don't know that the first front of your battles is the person in the mirror. The flesh wars against the spirit. So many are stepping out there saying they're strong and set apartness and ignore the fact that their flesh wars against their spirit. And as a result, they will defend their actions with excuses or words like, you know what I mean, or get over it. My brothers and sisters, it's important that we understand that the first front is the one in the mirror. That inward man that we have, our spirit that is joined with Yahusha Mashyach, joined with the Spirit of the Almighty Father. We will learn that during these end times, this is the time to gird up, be strong in the spirit. We will understand the meaning of the full armor of the Almighty Father, as it is written. Yashar'al or Yashar'al. This segment is to emphasize, and you notice the color purple. I use purple to symbolically represent the tabernacle, the Feast of Tabernacle, meaning that we must know the person in the mirror, the inward and the outward. Be mindful, O Yashar'al. This walk is real. This journey is real. End times are real, and they will indeed ramp up. As we begin to recognize how our flesh war against the spirit and bring this body into subjection to set apartness by the power and might of the Almighty Father, we will get to know the person in the mirror better. We will learn the importance of the words, I know me, better. Scriptures tell us to examine ourselves, my brothers and sisters, as with others. And just as much as we will examine us, the one in the mirror, we must examine those whom we are in fellowship. Again, the outer court, those who are outside of the family of set apartness, outside the family of set apart Yashar'al. Set apart Yashar'al represents both Hebrews and Gentiles made one by Yahusha Mashyach. Now there are those who are by race Abrahym, Hebrews. But under the banner of Yashar'al as a set apart nation, there are Gentiles, other nations joined with us, grafted in by the power and might of Yahusha Mashyach. Make no mistake, my brothers and sisters, the importance of this will come to be. With that said, let's get into this segment further. Do you know your identity? Do you know who dwells within you? I say to you, my brothers and sisters, the Spirit of the Most High dwells within you. And if you are indeed one who seeks to do His will and have discovered that He has found favor and drawn you to Yahusha Mashyach, you will recognize your identity. And as I stated before, we must recognize nationality in order for certain scriptures to be fulfilled. However, that's for those who must fulfill end-time prophecies as they are written. That's for those who must understand how Hebrews and Gentiles are made one by Yahusha. If you can't identify Hebrew or Abrahym, and you can't identify a Gentile, how can you identify the fulfillment of a promise where we are made one? Yashar'al, let me read the following. For there are those who receive convictions and will raise up and acknowledge their nationality. And there are those who are Gentiles who will acknowledge their nationality, but they will acknowledge being grafted in by the power and might of the Spirit of Yahushua and made one under the banner of Yashar'al. Let me read the following, my brothers and sisters. Acts 17:24. Yahuah, who made the world and all that is in it, the one being master of heaven and earth, does not dwell in dwellings made with hands. He dwells in us, O Yashar'al. That was Acts 17:24. Romans 8:11 says, and if the spirit of him who raised Yahusha from the dead dwells in you, he who raised Messiah from the dead shall also give life to your mortal bodies through his spirit dwelling in you. This is speaking to his children, O Yashar'al. It's speaking to us, set apart Yashar'al. That was Romans 8:11. 2 Corinthians 6:16 says, and what union has the dwelling place of the Almighty One with idols? For you are a dwelling place of the living Almighty One. As the Almighty One has said, I shall dwell in them and walk among them, and I shall be their Almighty One, and they shall be my people. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, it is important that we recognize the difference between someone that is just totally wicked and spiritually dead versus those who are our brothers and sisters who have been quickened by the power and might of the Almighty Father's Spirit working in them. It is important for us to differentiate the two. For he who is of the Almighty One will find out that if they're stumbling, falling, or representing wickedness in any way, if they belong to the Most High, he's cleaning their house up. He's disciplining and refining us, even us, O Yashar'al, as well as those who desire to grow, but they're undiscerning, unlearned. But they are being drawn. Make no mistake, my brothers and sisters, the Almighty Father knows the intent of all. and he knows those whom are his, those who are his. Consider these words, O children of the Almighty Father. There is more. Let me continue. My brothers and sisters, I say to you, examinations will lead to uncovering things hidden, both righteous and wicked. Consider these words, my brothers and sisters. 2 Corinthians 13:5 says, examine yourselves whether you are in the belief, prove yourselves. Or do you not know yourselves that Yahusha Messiah is in you, unless you are disapproved? Philippians, that was 2 Corinthians 13:5. Philippians chapter 1, verse 8 through 11 says, for the Almighty One is my witness. How long were you all with the affection of Yahusha Messiah? And this I pray, that your love might extend more and more in knowledge and all discernment. So it's not just saying knowledge, and it's not just saying discernment. It's saying knowledge and all discernment, for you to examine the matters that differ, in order to be sincere and not stumbling until the day of Messiah, being filled with the fruit of righteousness through Yahusha Messiah, to the esteem and praise of the Almighty One. Here, my brothers and sisters, we have an obligation. What I just read was Philippians chapter 1, verse 8 through 11. Before that was 2 Corinthians 13:5. My brothers and sisters, we have an obligation to examine ourselves, to examine those whom we are in fellowship. We have an obligation to ask questions. At the bottom of the screen, you'll see words that can be used to open up questions, my brothers and sisters. There are those who prefer to dodge questions. There are those who prefer to avoid questions. They have their reward, my brothers and sisters. To you who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, to you who are drawn by him in the name, to Yahusha Mashyach, in the name of Yahusha, rise up in the power and strength and understand you have the ability to judge the one in the mirror as the Spirit of Yahusha opens our eyes, as well as others, as the Spirit guides us. My brothers and sisters, it is important that we discern and draw close to those which demonstrate true love. Don't you want to be around someone that loves you? Whether it be love you as a husband, or as a wife love you, or a husband loving a wife, either or, with the love that Yahusha Mashiach gives us. Aren't you tired of those who love you because of the way you look or how smart you are? Aren't you tired of those who love you for superficial reasons, surface reasons, and not the full balance? Don't you want that pure love to be demonstrated to you? If it's not even in relationship as in husband and wife or husband and wives. Yes, I said husband and wives. Not multiple husbands and wives. Don't you want someone to love you as Yahusha loves his bride? Don't you want a husband that knows how to lead his household, how to manage those that are in his household as Yahusha guide him? Don't you want a husband that demonstrates how Yahusha demonstrates his love for her? Not a husband that's demanding you call him master or Lord, but a husband that earns your service by serving you as the Most High Yahusha served us, set apartness in direction and understanding. There must be balance, my brothers and sisters. Just as you have these husbands running around sticking their chests out, want you to just submit to them, are they submitting to the Spirit of Yahusha? Do they demonstrate how Yahusha treats them? Or are they trying to treat you differently? Wives and potential wives, know this. Any husband must treat you as Yahusha treats his bride. And he treats his bride with severity, with compassion, with love. Not trying to rule over them with disregard that the Spirit of Yahushua could speak through a wife or wives. Wives, know what it means to submit yourselves to your husband. And know what it means for your husband to be submitting himself before Yahusha Mashyach. If he's trying to take over and disregard the Spirit of Yahusha Mashyach, disregard the full teachings of Yahusha Mashyach, then he is in error. Relationship, for those who are covered by a leader, whether it be a moray, pastor, shepherd, bishop, whatever label the person have been crowned with, know this: we who are leaders are servants. We must demonstrate how Yahusha leads us and how he wants us to lead anyone else, as he directs, not as we choose. Yashar'al, oh Yashar'al, don't you want to be loved? Don't you want to know that someone loves you? That someone loves your children? Yes, there are sick people out there who abuse and misuse children. There are some of you that may be victims. Not maybe, have. There are some among the family of Yashar'al that have been victims of abuse and neglect. Rise up, O Yashar'al. Do not let the weights of yesterday continue to be a stronghold. Rise up under the blood of the Lamb. Be energized, strengthened, and know that you are made anew. Do not seek pity. Do not seek empathy. Rise up and leave the past behind you, O Yashar'al. Don't you want to be loved? When you find yourself, when we or any of us find ourselves accepting compromising camps and fellowships, knowing wickedness is present, knowing vanity is present in such a way that it does not demonstrate what Yahusha is saying do, it's time to come out of that camp. It's time to come out of that community. It's time to come out of that fellowship. If you see a leader demonstrating what Yahusha would demonstrate before his children, then there you must stay, if you believe you are led by the Almighty Father. You see, I'm not an advocate of forsaking the assembly together, but I am an advocate of those who should seek to discern the voice of the Spirit of Yahushua first, to identify what assembly he's directing them to. Make no mistake, Yashar'al, there must and will come times when we will find ourselves isolated. We will read, we will study, we will pray, we will witness the scriptures come alive, and we will rise up with the strength and confidence necessary to choose the community, the camp, the fellowship, the group, the family we should be with. Make no mistake, there will be a gathering from the four corners of the earth. The 144,000 are being refined. The great multitude are being refined. And together, we will witness a coming together in unity. With that said, my brothers and sisters, I ask you, don't you want to be loved? So it's time to discern and draw close to those who demonstrate true love. Come with me, my brothers and sisters, as I read the following. Proverbs 8:17. It reads as follows: I love those who love me, and those who earnestly seek me do find me. And that was Proverbs 8:17. I love those who love me, and those who earnestly seek me do find me. Revelation 3:19 says, as many as I love, I reprove and discipline. So be ardent and repent. Love, my brothers and sisters. Remember these words regarding love. Come with me as I read some more. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters. In Matthew 6th chapter, verse 24, it reads as follows: No one is able to serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one and love the other, or else he shall cleave to the one and despise the other. My brothers and sisters, we must choose. We must demonstrate our love for Yahusha Mashyach. We must demonstrate who it is we seek to serve, worship, and obey. We cannot serve two masters. Those who try will find it painful and regrettable. Matthew 22:37 reads, and Yahusha said to him, you shall love Yahuah, your Almighty One, with all your heart, and with all your being, and with all your mind. Love, balanced love, my brothers and sisters. And we will discover by loving the Almighty Father with all our heart, being, and with all our mind, that this is where we will discover love so that we can love one another. If someone say they love you and they're not demonstrating a love for Yahusha Mashyach, beware, for they may be unlearned, definitely undiscerning. They may be a babe still on milk, not discerning the full impact of the love of the Almighty Father. You see, my brothers and sisters, I've been married for over 34 years, and I love my Isha. I have one wife, but yes, I do believe that polygyny is a nation-building component to nation building. Make no mistake, in the 34 years, ask my Isha, what have she experienced? For sometimes, even when I stumble and fall, she asked me, is that what Yahusha telling you to do? Is that what Yahusha's ordering you? Well, I'm not going to pay attention to that if it's not of Yahusha. Now, some will say, well, a wife shouldn't talk back. But I say to you, my brothers and sisters, is not my Isha, my wife, greater than a donkey? Did not the Most High open the mouth of a donkey? Do not the scriptures say, if necessary, he will cause the stones to cry out? Is not my Isha greater than stone? Is she not also one who the Spirit of Yahuah dwells within? Could he not speak through her? Do not the scriptures talk about liberty in Yahusha? Do not she have the liberty to yield to his spirit and speak to me if I step out of line? You see, my brothers and sisters, too many of us are trying to preserve our egos, our pride, or what we think our position is as husband. Make no mistake, O Yashar'al, the courage and bravery of a man will prove itself now and in due season as end times ramp up. Don't you want someone to love you unconditionally as it lines up with scripture, my brothers and sisters, according to the word as it is made alive? Let me read John 15:12 and 13. It reads, this is my command, that you love one another as I have loved you. Think about that, my brothers and sisters. We stumble, we fall, we seek forgiveness, we repent, we yield to reproof, and we press forward. Under the blood of the Lamb, we are renewed day by day. Are our husbands demonstrating this? Or are they acting as dictators with total disregard to how Yahusha treats them or us? We must seek balance and demonstrating love one towards another, my brothers and sisters. John 15:12 and 13 say, this is my command, that you love one another as I love you. No one has greater love than this, that one should lay down his life for his friends. I also want you to take a moment, my brothers and sisters, to read the 13th chapter of 1 Corinthians. Take a moment and read it. Also consider reading the whole Song of Solomon with an open heart and mind to discern what the Spirit of the Most High is saying. Yashar'al, O Yashar'al, there's much ahead. Consider these words, my brothers and sisters. He who fails to get to know Yahusha cannot provide true love. Now, I'm not saying this person have to show you that they are totally mature and they beyond all obstacles, but they must demonstrate a love that shows you that they are growing in maturity and set apartness. Whether it be in relationship as it relates to a husband and wife or wives, or whether it be in relationship in terms of covering, in terms of fellowship, There must be love demonstrated that's on a trajectory of growth, showing day-to-day maturity, movement, not one who tried to protect egos and prides with excuses. Yashar'al, my brothers and sisters, it's time to understand. He who fails to get to know Yahusha cannot provide you with true love, the love that the Most High has for us. What say you, my brothers and sisters? It's time to know you. Can you demonstrate love? Can you demonstrate the very thing that you're looking for? My brothers and sisters, make no mistake, end times are here. It's time to discern and proclaim the realities of Yahusha. It's time to proclaim, speak the realities of what Yahusha is doing for you, in you, through you, towards others. Speak and identify what Yahusha is doing for you and to you as it comes from those who are led by him. Understand that Yahusha is the one who teaches us how to love, my brothers and sisters. We must realize that. The joy, the comfort, the protection, the safety that we desire, the refuge that we will seek as end times ramp up, the desire to be with strong individuals led by the power and might of the Almighty Father. All that we need to know to remove and reassure us that those whom we follow are not going to be cowards as end times ramp up, as death and destruction ramp up, to ensure that we are fitly joined together tight and set apartness in the power and might of set apartness. It begins with love, my brothers and sisters. We must proclaim it. We will proclaim it. We will recognize 144,000 Abrahym Hebrews rise up, representing 12 tribes as mentioned in Revelation 7 chapter. We will witness a disciplined, refined multitude, a great number of individuals consisting of Hebrews and Gentiles, Abrahym and Goym, which means other nations, who are made one by Yahusha Mashyach, who seek to do his will, who are drawn by him. We will witness coming together in mass numbers and drawing to that focal point, that set apart mountain where Mashyach received the 10 commandments. The promised land we will return, those who have been chosen by him. Now, make no mistake, my brothers and sisters, I'm not going to sit here and tell you all set apart ones are going before the physical return. That's a lie. I'm not going to try to sugarcoat it. We must present the realities. Some will be gathered, and it'll be a remnant compared to the total world population. But it will also be a great multitude, as Revelation 7:9 speaks of. But there will be those that are martyrs for Yahusha's name. There will be those led astray. There will be a falling away. And many people don't realize that these are some brothers and sisters that probably was disbelieving, undiscerning, but the flesh got the better of them. But remember, the scriptures say, it speaks of individuals being delivered to Satan for the destruction of the flesh, that the spirit may be saved. This is speaking of brothers whose house is being cleaned, but they were fighting to the end, and he just took them home. The scriptures speak to the children of the Most High. The book that is known commonly as the Bible has been written, was originally written to the children of the Almighty Father, to the inner court. Now, there are those who will say he mistaken the tabernacle and the structure that the temple of Yahuah was made that had the outer court. He misunderstanding. I say to you, my brothers and sisters, though that was and may be something that we remember, look beyond the physical and look at the spiritual. The inner court, the ultimate inner court, is the family, the set apart children of Yahuah. In Yahusha's name, make no mistake, the outer court are those who have their judgment. Let them be. Seek to identify those drawn by the Almighty Father. Seek to identify the seed singular of Abraham, as we are disciplined, refined, and growing in maturity as we prepare for that ultimate gathering. Proclaim, my brothers and sisters, proclaim the things that the Most High have for us, for you, for me. My brothers and sisters, there's a plan. The Most High has a plan, and there are individuals called out with a plan. I say to you, this slide you see here lets you know that a plan exists. Pray and watch. We will see plans unfold, plans that join hand in hand, and plans that will be judged and cast away. But as for me and my house, as the Most High should direct me, I will be a participant and present the plan of White Rose family, which is to build a set-apart team of leaders, vetted, proven to be chosen by the Almighty Father, to be participants as elders and leaders as Yashar'al began to come together, to develop an information and resource center for providing information, resources, supplies, and things that are necessary for the coming together of a set-apart nation, to build a team with diverse skill sets, individuals who acknowledge specific trades, specific skill sets that they have, and they're willing to be as mentors to the younger and to those who are mature and set apartness, a team that's willing to share and not afraid to speak what the Spirit of Yahusha has taken them to do, tasked them to do. To purchase land in Virginia, for I believe the Commonwealth of Virginia, the state of Virginia, is an exit point for the Western Hemisphere, my brothers and sisters. For those who are outside the Western Hemisphere, I believe the exit point will be the perimeter of whatever nation that they're in that points towards the promised land. And in due season, they will see elders rise up, leaders rise up who will lead them, and we will meet up. Those who are called by the Almighty Father will meet up at the promised land with the axis, the central point centered around Mount Sinai, true Mount Sinai, which is currently known as Jabal al-Lal, situated in the northwest quadrant of what is now known as Saudi Arabia. Believe it or not, recently Saudi Arabia has begun to allow people to get closer to the mountain. For years, it had been protected and isolated, but now they are beginning to make it a tourist attraction. These are the symptoms of a release, my brothers and sisters. Make no mistake, the set-apart mountain of the Almighty Father will be opened up and released to the children of the Almighty Father. In this plan, to identify and support safe zones as migrations begin to move towards the exit points, identify safe zones where people have been vetted, where leadership has been examined, to know. Now make no mistake, the flesh war against the spirit. So there will be some wickedness that seeps in, but we will know how to manage, how to deal with it, as the Almighty Father will direct us. To provide guidance and support for completing the journey, my brothers and sisters, we will find out that, make no mistake, there is a journey ahead of us, my brothers and sisters. To provide guidance for the inner court life, the life of set-apartness, to provide and demonstrate all that is necessary as we find ourselves waiting on Yahusha Mashyach's physical return. White Rose family has a plan, and with any plan, my brothers and sisters, there are costs. Count the costs. It will require sacrifice, a sacrifice of skills and talents, a sacrifice of finances. And you see me say often, use it or lose it. For soon and very soon, as extreme and extraordinary conditions rise up, we will find that money, wealth, silver, gold, fresh water and food, that is what will be the currency, my brothers and sisters. Fresh water and food. As the mark of the beasts begin to evolve before our very eyes, we will see that those who are very rich will be made low. So use what you have while you have it, while you can. Support the body of Yashar'al, set apart Yashar'al, as we begin to come together in unity, as we begin to prepare for a journey that is most taxing, most challenging. Rise up, my brothers and sisters, and you decide what you will do this day going forward. My brothers and sisters, as I bring this segment, this 39th installment to a close, I say to you, look at the one in the mirror and ask yourself, do you know you better? Can you say, I know me better? And did you start asking questions? Will you start asking questions so you can tell the person that you are come in contact with? Notice how it says we're two or more. So when that second person comes before your very eyes and you begin to fellowship with that individual, ask questions, examine that person. For the Almighty Father will bring you in a position where you'll say to that person, I know you better. And as we grow in numbers, O Yashar'al, through vetting, examining one another, through prayer and supplication, through meditation, through seeking to discern and walk in obedience, by walking in the fullness of the spirit of set apartness, we will be able to say, we know better. The time is now. Can you say the time you spent in fellowship with whatever community, whatever camp, whatever fellowship, can you say from the time you started to now that you fully can say, I know me better. I know you better. We know better. If not, my brothers and sisters, it's time to examine, is that the place for you? And in knowing better, have you discovered a trajectory, a pathway that has been growing in maturity and set apartness in the love that the Almighty Father has for you, me, us, and his set apart children? Pray on these matters, my brothers and sisters. I ask that if you are receiving anything that is pointing you to Yahusha Mashyach, pointing you to the Almighty Father, in the name of Yahusha, consider subscribing, consider supporting, consider contributing your skills, your talents, as you believe you are directed by the Almighty Father. On that note, O Yashar'al, I salute your patience, your tolerance, your pursuit of set apartness, and my prayer that you grow in discernment, that we grow in discernment, and that we learn how to respond with correctness and accuracy. In the name of Yahusha, I salute you, my set apart family, my brothers, my sisters, my family. And I say to you, Shalum.